Still unsure about whether you should call yourself an MSP. We tackled that episode, and that was about one of our members emailed us and asked a kind of a really poignant question about how they should market themselves and whether or not their newer customers who may or may not understand managed services, whether they as a company should still be calling themselves an MSP. And I gave my response. And as soon as I had hit end record, then no sooner was I like checking my email and I'm getting a whole bunch of Google alerts. And one of the first ones that I get, not kidding, the first ones that I get is this. And the title is 4 Reasons Why Businesses Should Consider a Managed Service Provider, otherwise known as an MSP. So no sooner had I just finished explaining why I believe the term MSP and managed services is still really relevant even after 30 years, and why we ought to continue using it for a variety of reasons. The main one in that episode, which you can hopefully you've viewed and listened to that podcast by now, talks a lot about how effective of a term it is, even though it may be broad, even though it may be very kind of ubiquitous in terms of its meaning. It's useful because it describes a very large body of MSPs throughout the world. And then I went on, I think, and I said, by the way, what else are you going to call yourselves? If everybody is using the term MSP or managed services, why would you change it? Even if you had something to change it to, which no one's ever come up with a viable alternative. And then I get hit with, and this is not a channel company, this retailcustomerexperience.com, right? They're not a channel company. And they write an article titled 4 Reasons Why Businesses Should Consider a Managed Service Provider. And then, not 30 seconds after I get done reading that article, I get another article in my feed. This one from a bit more of a noteworthy publication called Forbes magazine. You may be familiar with that. Forbes.com. The title of that article is How Managed Services Can Future-Proof Security Operations. These are all, by the way, current modern day articles posted this month. Folks, I offer you two really good examples of how everybody in the world, speaking metaphorically and slightly in a ubiquitous term, I understand that. Even if you're not in the IT channel, the rest of the community still uses the term managed services and MSP. We're nowhere close to having a second place word replacement for that. And if you're not going to call yourself an MSP or a managed service provider, how in the heck are anybody how are they going to find you? How are your customers going to find you? How are you going to find your customers? How are you going to communicate? How are you going to market to them?